Good morning, everybody. I wanted to take a minute to have a grown man conversation, grown up conversation, and I told y'all a long time ago I'm not going to stop talking. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to social injustice or whatnot, it's not something that I want to talk about every day. And to be honest, the actual subject actually makes me feel like shit. But it's something that I can't just stop talking about at all. You know what I'm saying? I can't, in good conscience, stop talking about it. So now we have a whole new situation. We have Daunte Wright. We also have Daunte Wright situation, which happened about 10 miles from where George Floyd's situation happened, and then we have a situation in Virginia that happened to an actual black and Latino Army lieutenant. All right. Which I think goes to show so much more than meets the eyes. All right. So if we were going through some of the names, we would go through George Floyd. We would go through Tamir Rice. We would go through um, Alton Spencer. We would go through Philando Castile. We would go through um, Ahmaud Arbery to a certain extent, even though it was a retired police officer. Breonna Taylor. Um, um, Jacob Lake. Um, to a lesser degree, someone a wannabe cop. Mr. Um, mm. And now Mr. Trayvon Martin, and now we add a new name, Daunte Wright. Um, and I believe the Army lieutenant is, his last name is Casario, I believe. So let me take this into context. I'll start with Daunte Wright. I think that was a first thing popped in my mind, and I'm not saying that I'm right or wrong. I'm not saying anything, but the first thing that popped in my mind when I watched the video, um, the first thing that popped in my mind as I watched that video was, hey, this is a new way to actually put on for appearances as far as having your body cam on, because this woman yells taser while she has a pistol in her hand. So, of course, we've seen many cases where police officers claim to have. There was one recently where police officers claim to have been trying to tase someone and actually shot them. So, first thing popped into my head before I even went there and wanted to make this video was, is it one of those pistols with the taser on it? So it turns out that that wasn't the case. It turns out that this her holster has her pistol on one side and her taser on the other side. All right. So at this moment, there was only one round fired or whatnot. So at this moment, they're claiming her claim is that it was an accident. All right. So um, I want to say this about that particular subject. About this particular subject. Um, if an individual was trying to kill one person and fired into a crowd of people where that one person was, and didn't hit that person, but hit and killed somebody else that they weren't trying to shoot, could they go into the courtroom and say, hey, it was an honest mistake, it was an accident, I wasn't trying to kill that person, I was trying to kill someone else, and since I didn't kill that person or hit that person with a bullet or whatnot, I should be able to go home? Do you think that defense would resonate in court? I don't think so. For this woman to yell taser, she was coherently present to yell taser, yet didn't realize that it wasn't her taser that was in her hand. It was actually a pistol. She wasn't coherent enough to recognize that she actually had a pistol. Now, here's where I stand on that whole situation, as well as many other situations. All right. With all due respect to the good police officers out there who want to do the right thing and try every day to do the right thing, this is not about you. This conversation is not about you. So please separate yourself from what I'm about to say. I will always stand on the principles. I always have stood on the principles, and I will always stand on the principles that when a man is outnumbered, clearly outnumbered, and we know that intimidation is a weapon that is used by the police officers, whether it's use of numbers and use of weapons. When an unarmed individual is clearly outnumbered, there's no reason to draw your weapon. When there's 3-4 officers on the scene, and here you have a 19-year-old kid, being approached with weapons. Because before taser was ever yelled, I saw weapons out from other officers. So you have a 19. Is it any wonder that this kid is scared to death? Even if you are a grown man, these people have live weapons pointed in your direction. Is there any reason why this kid is scared to get death and wants to try to get away from this situation? Now, I know resistance is considered to be futile in any situation with a police officer or whatnot, and I think everybody understands that. But I also think that fear makes people react a certain way. Fear has a bearing on how a person reacts. Okay, so to that point that I'm making, I've been watching several videos over the past couple weeks, and really over the past couple years, and it's crazy to me because it seems that in normal traffic stops, I would say this: if you're stopping someone for a seatbelt, and recently I was stopped for maybe last year, I was stopped for my tag being expired. My new tag on my new truck. I was stopped for my tag being expired because for whatever reason my tag didn't come to the dealership, and it didn't come to my house. All right, so first off, that was the same thing that Daunte Wright was stopped for. There still is a pandemic going on. There still is a process to having things worked out at the DMV. So you should already be moving with that type of caution that, we know that everywhere in the country it takes 2 to 3 weeks before you can even get into the DMV, all right? That don't mean people can't go to work or do what's necessary in order to live life because there's a problem with um, getting into the DMV and handling your business in a timely manner because of this pandemic that we're going through. All right, so that should hit your head right off GP. All right. The other thing I wanted to say is if you're approaching someone for a bad tag, or if you're approaching someone for a I don't know, seatbelt violation or whatever the case may be. I've watched several videos over the past couple days, past couple weeks, past couple years. There is no reason for you to approach a minor traffic stop with your gun drawn. Now, the problem that I have with that, the real problem that I have with that is when I watch all of these videos, I'm not just watching black videos. I'm watching white videos too. I'm watching white people being pulled over. I'm watching Latinos being pulled over. And when it comes to black and white police cam videos, dash cam videos, body cam videos, surveillance cam videos, whatever the case may be, when it comes to these videos, for some reason, oddly enough, for some reason, when it's a black or brown person, black or brown individual, the police officers approach any situation looking to intimidate that individual by approaching them with their gun drawn for the minor, the smallest shit. Okay, and it was the same thing in this case. It was the same thing in the case with the brother from that lived in Virginia. It was the same thing. Approached with guns. However, in all of these videos that I've watched, there was white individuals who weren't being approached with any weapon drawn. There were certain individuals who gave such a hard time to the police officers, struggling with them, and there was never a weapon drawn. And they go the long way before they got such a longer rope to hang themselves with that it's utterly ridiculous. To the point that when someone did attack a police officer or try to shoot a police officer or try to kill a police officer, that's the crazy thing about it is those individuals, and I would say with almost 100% accuracy on all the videos that I watched. Now maybe there's some that I didn't come across, and I didn't watch I know I didn't watch every video that's out there of these incidences, but I would say with almost 100% accuracy, the people who tried to do these things to police officers were white individuals. The people who tried to do harm to these officers were white individuals. The people who shot at these officers were white individuals. The people who... So you're approaching us with the utmost caution. You're approaching a black man with the utmost caution. A brown person with the utmost caution. But then it's your own that's actually firing off on you. It's your own that you're getting into physical struggles with. Fighting, throwing blows, punches, getting tackled. Alright? And like I said, from the videos that I watched with almost 100% accuracy, these people were never approached with a weapon drawn. Alright? Even after a chase that ended. Whatever the case may be, I've seen certain videos that after a chase, that no one had their weapon drawn. Okay? Because they realized that it looks like they realized that the individual was white. Now, real quick, I wanted to speak on mostly everything I just said applies to the brother in Virginia, but I wanted to say one last thing about that. They call this like the right wingers like to call this a fight for our country. It's not a racist thing. It's a fight for our country and the morals and the values of this country. The morals and ethics and the moral fibers of this country and what this country was built on. I'm going to post a video in the comments so you all like the entire video in the comments. I watched this brother have to explain every part of his life, where he lives, where he's going, where he was heading to, where he was coming from, his job at his job with the military, all of these things. And I watched, it's a 30-minute video. I watched maybe 23, 24 minutes of the video, and not one time did they explain to this man why he was getting pulled over. It took them 20-something minutes to tell him why he was getting pulled over, which was the basis of this whole ordeal, alright? So, the point that I wanted to make is when they saying this is about the ethics of how you should act under the guidelines of this country, or whatever the case may be. First of all, it's not illegal to drive to a well lit area, as long as you don't drive erratically in any way. As long as you don't raise your as long as you don't accelerate in a crazy way, not using your mind. It's if you're in the dark somewhere, it's not a good idea to pull over to the side of the road, because the fact of the matter is police lights are available. There are people who buy police cars from auctions where the lights still actually work. So you could be being pulled over by someone who is actually there to just rob you. Okay? So this is what this individual did. He actually drove to a well-lit gas station. It was early in the morning, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and he actually made his way to a well-lit gas station. Now, with that being said, he's in full uniform, y'all. He's in full uniform. So it goes to show that even the best that we have to offer to this country, a lieutenant in the United States Army who happens to be black and brown, can't even get a fair shake. He is currently serving this country. He is enlisted. Said he was getting ready for deployment. He's getting ready to go fight for this country, where he can't even get a fair shake. That he was pepper sprayed just for asking, yo, why are you pulling me over? Why are you pulling me over? On top of that, he was given instructions that don't match up, that aren't cohesive with each other. You telling me to hold my hand out of the window. Let me put my hands where you can see them, but then you're telling me to take my seatbelt off and get out the car, making my hands no longer visible. So if I reach for my seatbelt, you can say I'm reaching for anything and shoot me. It goes to show, like, if you had any doubt about what we've been saying has been going on for years and years and years, long before video cameras and camera phones and all of these things are basically such a way of life, that now all of these things get caught on camera, and now body cams and all of these things. It goes to show he got pulled over, and once again it was a tag. He got pulled over for not having a tag, except he had a tag. This is why we can't stop talking, y'all. I told y'all, just because Biden won and certain seats were taken and all of this stuff, the seats in Georgia were taken by Democrats, we haven't won a thing. We are looking for real life change. We're not looking to be better than anybody, but we're looking to be treated equally. That I may be judged based off of the content of my character and not the color of my skin. That I have an equal shake. That I can be pulled over and still feel safe. This is all that we're asking. So we can't stop talking. Because like I said, just because it's not making front page news and the first story on the news, doesn't mean it's not happening. I hope everybody have a blessed day. Holla at y'all. Show off.